The first thing I want them to take is confidence. You are important and I am here for you. You have to communicate with your doctor, and that is not a chairside conversation. You plan a meeting with your doctor and you talk to them about a growth plan. Even today with the technology market, it's constantly changing. I feel like I learn something every day in dentistry. Even in the hardest, darkest days, persevere, keep going. There's always a rainbow at the end of the storm.
Hey everybody, welcome back into another edition of the Dental Assistant Nation podcast. We are recording live at the Rocky Mountain Dental Convention, Denver, Colorado, and that is where Christie Baker, EFDA 3, RDA, CDA, has been speaking. Hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm great, Dr. Henry. Thank you for having me.
I am so glad you are here. I'm so glad you were talking to assistants. You know, my big drum I bang is that all these meetings have to have something specially designed for assistants.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm glad that was you this time.
Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here.
Well, good. First time in Denver?
It's not my first time in Denver, but it is my first time at this convention.
Okay.
It's been phenomenal.
Good.
Yes.
Well, I want to know a little bit more about you, and then I want to dive into some topics.
Okay, awesome.
So tell me about Christie Baker.
Well, I have been in dentistry for 2 decades. That either means I'm really antique or I started really young. So I did start in dentistry when I was 18 years old.
Okay.
I started in a dental laboratory as a dental laboratory technician in the plaster room. I then grew into removables, dentures, casting metal, stacking porcelain. But whenever I would do deliveries and pickups to the dental offices, I really bonded with the dental assistants and I felt very connected to them. And I could kind of see in the background what they were doing. And I was like, I want to do that. So I went through an apprenticeship under a dental assistant, and I just really found I was passionate about it. And I wanted to learn all of the ins and outs because I saw that the doctors had letters after their name.
Sure.
The hygienists had letters after their name, but I was missing those letters.
Yeah.
And while the letters don't necessarily make you less important as an assistant compared to other roles in the team, I definitely wanted to have that just to build value in myself.
Yeah.
So that's when I started seeking out education and training. So I attended the University of Louisville, and they have a dental assisting program, the University of Kentucky as well, and Western Kentucky University.
Yeah.
And then it just transpired from there. I had a lot of really great mentors along the way and a lot of really great doctors that I worked with who really valued educating their team to enable them to really have a nice flow to their office. And that's how I ended up where I am today. And it just transpired from here.
That's awesome. No, and one of the courses that you taught here in Denver was about those chairside skills.
Yes.
And how important that is. What's the biggest thing that you want assistants walking out of that class really taking home with them and implementing on Monday?
The first thing I want them to take is confidence.
Okay.
I want them to be confident in what they're doing, and I really want to uplift them and for them to feel empowered. I want them to be able to, if they have self-doubt, to eliminate that. I want to put predictable materials in their hands, predictable techniques that they can replicate over and over.
Yeah.
But really, I just want them to take away that you are important and I am here for you. So any resource that I can be to them on Monday, it doesn't stop with my classes. I roll on from there.
I love that because that's such a great message. And I think assistants need to hear that time and time again, that you're important, you matter.
Yes.
You're such a valuable part of the team's success. So
yes.
I'm glad about that. And I know you did a lot clinically as well. We're talking
Yes.
class 2s. You really
Yes.
did a lot of good teaching here.
Oh, thank you.
What's maybe the biggest mistake that they make whenever it comes to class 2s in your mind?
Not securing the matrix, not choosing the correct matrix, not wedging properly, not knowing the correct ways to finish and polish. Moisture control is the big one. Isolation is key.
All right.
So those, I think, would be some of the key takeaways. I do teach them a special technique that helps with stresses on the tooth that I've learned and kind of developed into my own process over the years. And assistants love it and doctors love it. So I really try to pass that along as well.
That's awesome. That is
There's
fantastic.
a lot of love in my classes.
Well, you know what? That's a great thing because assistants need that love.
Yes,
so I'm really
exactly.
glad about that. So when you're doing your class for Chairsideskills and you've got your class 2 class and the other clinical side you teach, where do those overlap? Because we know those chairside skills include communication, being a mind reader with the doctor so many times,
Yes.
things like that. How do you see those two kind of overlapping?
We are in the chairside skills. It is a catered learn. So I may have assistants that are brand new in that learn, and I may have assistants who are expanded functions. So I try to pair in the learn experienced assistants with maybe a less experienced assistant.
Okay.
So if there is an experienced assistant in the chairside class, they can be placing the restoration, and then the less experienced assistant may be passing them instruments. So they're learning four-handed dentistry. We're talking about where you would hold your suction tip. We're talking
Good.
about how maybe non-ideal the medicines or medicaments that we use
Yeah.
may taste, and how to communicate to your patient what you're putting in their mouth and make them feel comfortable with you as the assistant working in their mouth. So that is kind of how I try to tie those together.
What's the biggest lesson? Because you said you've got all ranges in there.
Yes,
And we
yes.
know there are so many new assistants coming in. What's the biggest piece of advice you give to those young assistants who are maybe just starting their career?
Keep learning, keep growing, take it up on yourself. Read the manufacturer's instructions
Oh
when
my
you get a
gosh.
new product. That's a big thing.
Those
Read those
IFUs,
instructions.
wow.
Yes, they are a wealth of knowledge and they're a great training resource. Videos, you really have to take your education up on yourself. You can't just depend on everyone else to tell you what you need to know. Take initiative to grow in your career for yourself. See value in your career and not just the office you're in.
Is that one of the biggest things you had to learn along the way in
Yes,
your path as well?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
But you also said a few minutes ago, talking about the doctors who have helped you along the way.
Yes.
Did you just stumble across those doctors, or did you build those relationships so that they then invested back into you?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
There was an office that I kind of stumbled upon, and I'm still friends with them to this day. I love them. They're an amazing practice, and they definitely helped mentor me along the way. But there was a certain point where I kind of felt like I was outgrowing that. I wanted to learn more advanced procedures than they were doing. It was a very mom and pop practice. So I sought out a cosmetic practice that had a lot of neuromuscular cosmetic dentistry type full mouth reconstruction cases and pursued that and networked. And that doctor really valued me as an assistant and valued education. So
Awesome.
a little bit of it was chance, but a lot of it is they knew that if they sent me to a class, I wasn't going to be sleeping on my textbook, that I was going to be there taking notes and learning everything I could. And when I came back, I was going to be ready to hit the ground running with that on Monday.
And you told them what you were passionate about. It wasn't the other way around, right?
I think they kind of saw the passion.
Okay.
I think that they would see my excitement because I am passionate and excited about dentistry. And sometimes I think that kind of oozes out of my pores.
Yeah.
So I think they saw that I was very excited and passionate about things, but I also think that they fostered my passion for things as well.
So we're on again with Christie Baker, an amazing dental assistant. We are on the show floor of the Rocky Mountain Dental Convention in Denver, Mile High, and talking about all things that are going to help assistants feel a mile high whenever they get back into the practice
Oh,
on
I sure
Monday.
hope so.
Oh,
That
how
would be
about that? See?
amazing.
Absolutely. So tell me, what's one of the biggest questions you get, maybe in that chairside skills class? What pet peeve, something that you're hearing a lot about right now from assistants out there?
I want to be more hands-on, but my doctor won't let go of control. I
there it
want
is.
to do this new procedure. I learned this. I can do it. How do I prove to my doctor? How do I gain their trust?
Yep.
We work with that a lot,
Okay.
and that is my number one question.
Well, okay. Well, I'm going to ask you for the answer there. If that's your number one question, how do we get past that?
Communicate.
Okay.
You have to communicate with your doctor, and that is not a chairside conversation. That is, you plan a meeting with your doctor and you talk to them about a growth plan. You talk to them about a path to get there. You show them on typodonts your work. You know, we don't want to necessarily practice on live patients, but there comes a point that we got to let go and let God, right? So it's nice to be able to, at a certain point, the doctor will need to trust you, but there is a communication behind that. And it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. I also tell people, do not start out of the gate thinking you're going to place class 2s as an expanded functions. It's a great place to start with maybe sealants, then move into occlusal restorations, then class 2. So it's a graduated process.
Okay. You talked a few minutes ago about those acronyms behind your name and the importance of learning.
Yes.
Is that the main message you tell to somebody who maybe doesn't have those acronyms and is wondering if it's really worth it or not?
Honestly, I think that they do build value whenever you are looking, especially in the market for maybe a position you're growing outside of Chairside. Maybe you want to move into a show floor type exhibit hall position. They definitely look at those letters after your last name, and it's a differentiator. So if you're applying for someone, does it make you better? No, but it may make your resume stand out a little more. This is one message I really drive home. CE codes sometimes do not matter to a dental assistant. So a lot of times at the end of the course, they'll just leave. I think dental assistants should get that code. They need to keep up with every single course, the name of the course, who the instructor was, and the code number, where they took it. They need to collect those. It build your credentials and build your resume. That's how I built my first speaker's bio. I took every CE course I had been to, I laid them out, who the instructors were. Now, if you have an instructor like me, I consider myself to be a small fish in a large pond, but there are some really amazing people. Like, let's say it was a Dr. Christensen class, Lord rest his soul. That really pops on a resume.
Absolutely.
So whenever I look at dental assistants, I always encourage them to, even though you don't necessarily need the continuing education credits, you took an educational class, and that itself should be acknowledged, and you need to use that to build your resume over time.
And I'm going to guess that you took a wide range of courses as well. Yes. It wasn't always just communication. It wasn't always just this, but you made sure you're building up at all levels.
Yes, I try to be as well-rounded as possible. And even today with the technology market, it's constantly changing. I feel like I learn something every day in dentistry. So even I hate to say this, but I'll be 42 in March. So 42 years old and I'm still learning something new every day. So that's saying something. I don't know a lot of fields where it doesn't get old and stagnant.
Well, so last question for you.
Yes.
Let's say you can go back to your 22-year-old self.
Oh, goodness, I wish.
What message would you tell yourself about what's to come?
I would tell myself, even in the hardest, darkest days, persevere, keep going. There's always a rainbow at the end of the storm. So every day can't be sunshine and rainbows, unfortunately, but hang in there. Hang in there and keep going.
Join us at CE on the Beach, June 26th to 28th, 2025, at the stunning Westin Grand Cayman Resort and Spa. This is the ultimate destination event for dentists, teams, coaches, and speakers. Save your spot now and get $150 off with promo code KHENRY. Visit ceonthebeach.com to register today.
Well, I know you're impacting dental assistants here in Denver at this meeting, but also through other ways as well. Tell people how they can get a hold of you or learn more about you as well.
We do have a website. My company is called Tooth and Talent. Our website is toothandtalent.com. They can also email us at toothandtalent@gmail.com.
Awesome.
We do offer on-site trainings all across the United States and Canada. So we do custom learns depending on the needs of the office. Okay. And then we also have an academy in Kentucky. We're on the Kentucky-Tennessee line, about 45 minutes north of Nashville in a city called Bowling Green, Kentucky, home of the Corvette and the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers.
There you go.
Go Tops. And we have a dental assistant academy. It is not accelerated. It is a comprehensive training that trains assistants from all ranges, very beginning, but we do have something unique, which is an expanded functions level 3 training course. So after you have gone through class 2 trainings, you've gone through provisional trainings, we start teaching other things like suture techniques, assisting with implants, how to set up sterile room, like a OR. So we offer a wide range of courses and are certifying people in a way that they can take a national board exam through the Dental Assisting National Board. I definitely encourage the board exams through them. And then we will also be training them on a state level. And we are the only program like that in our state.
Awesome. Well, go Tops indeed. So nicely done. Absolutely. Well, Christie, thanks for taking a few minutes here in Denver. I really do appreciate it. And safe travels back home.
Oh, thank you. And I love being here. And thank you. It's safe travels to you as well.
Absolutely. And hey, thanks to all of you listening to this episode of the Dental Assistant Nation podcast. Listen to what Christie just said about believing in yourself, about not every day being sunshine and rainbows. Important lessons for those dental assistants who have been there and done that and are encouraging you to grow in your career. Till next time, it's Kevin Henry, host of the Dental Assistant Nation podcast, signing off, and as always, wishing you nothing but success ahead.
Thank you.